And we'll have to see how he's going to get this done here. So we got 4 rifleman squads. Unfortunately, this did not. He did not finish resupplying this group, but he managed to move them back to get a few more units in for them. So, big, powerful rifleman squad moving up. This is a scary force, but you really want to have a machine gun team to deal with it. And now we're kind of looking around. Where's the machine gun team? Here it is. Here's the Fatherland HMG team. And you'll notice, hopefully, we'll see Stefan is going to set this up in a good position here, but the right move is always to set it back a little further than you think you want it to. Many times the German players will lose. Oh! And there we have the reactive artillery. As you can tell, Stefan has called in reactive artillery. That's what this little circle on the map means. Any units that are within that circle who he has sight of will suffer the wrath of, I believe it's about 3 artillery shots that land there. So that instantly scared away all the riflemen. And now Stefan has control of this area again. Knowing he's about to have a big firefight with these riflemen that are going to be stuck in this house here, he's also gone ahead and fired up for the Fatherland, which basically I believe gives them, you can tell by the little graphic, extra armor, they heal, and I think that's extra movement speed, but I'd have to look that up exactly. It could be something to that effect. But anyhow, it's a good move, and he's going to go ahead and fight off the rest of the riflemen here who are just kind of hiding in the house. Hiding in the house, by the way, is a great move if you just need to stall for a little while, because it just gives you a lot more armor and makes it easier. So, riflemen are all of a sudden back in, because they didn't take too many casualties, didn't have to resupply very much, and now they're pushing out. Bargain Volksgrenadier is kind of taking it right in the face, and he has activated, Stefan has activated recoup losses, which gives him munitions and fuel every time he takes a casualty. HMG team in the back is firing wildly. You can see that all of these troops in the front line here are pinned, which means that their movement rate is drastically reduced, although they can still fire for a little bit. And now they are all in full retreat as Stefan moves in, inflicting massive casualties on them. The last of the riflemen are stuck in this little bit of a house here. Meanwhile, you can see that there's still a little bit of this footsie going on. Remember, I kept saying that this just kind of goes on all game here. Audemed is still recapping points. It's kind of one of those things, sort of like micro and macro in StarCraft 2 or StarCraft. You know, it's one of those things you have to fight your battles, but constantly keep thinking about the chessboard as a whole and take control of the squares that you need. Because honestly, this whole game, Stefan has been actually behind in points, though he's been ahead of map control. So it's interesting to note that he has enough presence of mind to know that he doesn't necessarily need to cap all these points just yet. It's more important for him to kill the enemy. And then he has all the control he needs. As you can see, this whole sector is going down for him. Meanwhile, he's losing a little bit on the left. Eventually, I'm sure he'll move people out. This is an interesting choice here. He sends his HMG team all the way over here to the left. I'm not quite sure why he did that. I would have wanted to see it stay here just to kind of hold on to this front. But obviously, he has something else in mind. This is not a bad place to put, for starters. Once again, we see this scout plane going over. That's a wonderful tactic for the airborne commanders to use kind of constantly. And Sturm Armory going up for Stefan right now, and he's going to go ahead and probably get a Stug out any minute, I would imagine, although he probably, Puma is equally as likely. Audemed moving up now with his infantry once again, and we'll take a quick look at his base. You'll notice not a lot of build orders here. Supply Yard is basically just giving him access to some more tier units, and Triage Center heals all of his troops whenever they retreat home. Reactive Artillery, once again, as you can see it pop up in the mini-map here. We'll have to see. One miss here, not really going to do any casualties. Gigantic grenade throw for Audemed. It looked like it took out about 4 or 5 infantry who are huddled around that heavy cover there. Second artillery, unfortunately, is missed, and the third, these infantry are probably going to be outside the range of it, and there it goes off. Almost no casualties to the reactive artillery. Stefan is in full retreat here with his units, and a giant... Oh, there goes one shot right there. It looked like it took out one guy. But for the most part, it looks like the riflemen have had their day and they're running. And this is exactly what I was worried about. I really wanted to see this heavy machine gun team over there defending against that. And I'm sure he's going to have to move them back and try and recoup his losses here. Pun intended, that's actually a skill, but that's not what I meant. So once again, Audemed is now taking control of this right-hand side of the map. And because of his handy footwork during that whole fighting, he actually still has a significant size of the left-hand side of the map. Stefan is trying to recap some of it, but frankly, he's using wounded engineers to do it, and it's going to be a little harder for him to actually get back some of this stuff. We'll have to see if he's going to be able to get anything done here. He's already retreating with his one group. Second group's going to come in here and exchange a little bit of fire, but frankly, level 3 defense engineers versus level 5 construction pioneers, kind of an even trade. Not really sure who's going to win with that. But we'll get back to that in a bit as we take a look around the map here just a bit more. Let's see, these infantry are retreating. And here we go. Here is the Puma. This is what I wanted to see. You'll notice he even has this, Stefan even has a second one coming right now. Once again, the airborne commander Audemed actually has map control in terms of command points, but really, I think Stefan is about to push back out with all of his infantry, with his HMG team, and with his 2 Pumas, and that'll probably be all it takes to end the game at this point, because as we can see, it looks like Audemed might just be getting an artillery. No, he's not. I would love to have seen an anti-tank gun coming out of here, but instead he's going to be getting a single Greyhound, and that may not be enough to do it for him. Let me switch back to Stefan here. Stefan moving down with his Pumas, looking good, being really aggressive with the Pumas. This is something that is very tricky to do properly. Oh, look at that. Pop the last of the flame engineers before they could lay their mines. It's very tricky to push all the way into someone's base because typically you overextend and lose your vehicles. A lot of Allied players like to run into German bases with Greyhounds, and it gets really tricky. So this Greyhound is going to open fire, and we'll see how well he can do. He's got a nice little side shot right off the bat. The Puma is not really doing any damage just yet. I feel like the Greyhound does a little bit better damage versus vehicles, but you wouldn't know by looking at their damage types, because it looks like they have the same advantage. That's what all these numbers here mean on the right, but it's kind of complicated. But this Puma is just getting a beating here, having not really done any damage to the Greyhound, who is currently, it looks like, researching the 50 caliber gun or maybe the armored platings. Hard to tell. So this Puma is going to have to do a little bit of micro hit to get out of the way. Meanwhile, just want to keep an eye out here. Stefan is recapping the rest of the map, which is great. Puma's retreating a bit. Second Puma is still pecking away at this Greyhound, but the Greyhound is doing a wonderful job fending off both Pumas. Meanwhile, big infantry blob moving up here on the right. Going to try and keep an eye on both situations here at once. Looks like the infantry are moving in to take out this Greyhound if they can. Meanwhile, Audemed's infantry are moving up to capture this side of the map. So the control points are currently tied. Stefan might be able to take the advantage once he caps that back. It'll be 2-1 control points. And here he goes. He's fired off both For the Fatherland and recruit losses, so the troops are hardy, and he will get paid whenever they die. Meanwhile, Flame Engineer is moving up here, but the heavy machine gun team is in order. Looks like a little landmine went off there. I didn't quite catch whose that was. Hand grenade goes off. Doesn't inflict any casualties, though. Heavy machine gun team doing a lot of damage here. This has got a great field of fire. A lot of retreating going on. There's only a single rifleman squad left here with 2 men. He's retreating right away. And looks like Stefan's even picking up Browning automatic rifles that are lying on the ground here. And it looks like with the defeat of his enemy, and you know, I didn't even see what happened to that Greyhound. I hate to say it, but it looks like with all of that and the hero, oh, that's what happened. The hero Puma came in and killed the Greyhound on the right while that fighting was going on. And with that, Stefan has won the day. So here we go. This is a great example of just a typical sort of ladder game between very high players. Last I checked, Stefan is in the top 1 percentile, and I know his opponent is a great opponent as well. Audemed, I'm sure I'll be seeing more of him, is a great airborne player. So once again, I hope you enjoyed this. Stay tuned for more. And I am Harlequin. Good night, good game, good luck. Have fun.